granniopteryx, granniopteryx. She knows the truth, she's linking every link.
Coca-Cola and their 500 brands produce 200,000 single-use plastic bottles per minute. But it's cows that are the problem. I'm going to be talking about Bovaer, and if you don't know anything about it, I beg you to stay a while and find out what it is. It's a feed additive that reduces methane emissions, they say, from ruminant animals such as cattle by inhibiting an enzyme in their digestive system. So what it is, it's a chemical that is introduced into the digestive system of a cow, and it stops the cow from digesting the food it's eating in the way that the cow has been evolved to digest the food. Because in their constant battle against farmers, it has been determined by various governments that cows are a problem. And they've even convinced kids that farming is a problem. It's not going to end with cows. As we are seeing the medicalisation of our children with gender-affirming care, so we are seeing the increasing medicalisation of farming. And that's not going to do any of us any good at all. Well, apart from the multinationals, of course.
Farming needs to stop. That's the single biggest driver of climate change.
Well, I suppose, like me, you like to eat, and therefore most of you are basically on the side of the farmer. I have had my, differences of opinion with farmers over the matter of bridle paths and things like that, but they do grow food for us, and perhaps that's a reason to be at least a little bit tolerant of them. I'm not going to speak much about this. I'm just going to let this farmer tell you about the Bovaer thing, and you can make up your own minds about the situation that we appear to be heading for. All right, I'm granniopteryx. Please like this video, please share it. Please subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell. Also, if you want to contribute financially, that's lovely. All the links all the links are in the description, the top of the information underneath the video. All right, let's get on with allowing this farmer here to talk about Bovaer and a farmer in Denmark who is having a little bit of trouble with that stuff by the looks of things. All right. So this article here is from The Guardian, and they're talking about a green levy from 2030. But apparently Danish farmers are now being forced to use Bovaer on their cows, on their dairy cows. So Bovaer has been forced upon them a long time before this green levy. Of course, The Guardian put it in a very neutral way, belching livestock, so it's the livestock that are being rude, and you start off with belching. That's something bad. It already makes the article sympathetic to the idea that cows shouldn't belch. And they're going to incur a green levy in Denmark from 2030. Farmers in Denmark will have to pay for planet-heating pollutants. Again, it's their cows and the methane that they expel, that their cattle expel as gas after the government agreed to set the world's first emissions tax on agriculture. So we have this situation now where we have politicians telling farmers that their cows are a social encumbrance. Okay, I'm going to play this to you. This is our next generation of politician, a young student that has been accosted in the street. Let's hear what he has to say.
Farming needs to stop. That's the single biggest driver of climate change.
Yeah, it's the single biggest driver of climate change, in as much as when you've got farmers, people stay alive. I mean, if we all died of starvation, then the world would just carry on its own, wouldn't it? That's the way he appears to be looking at it. I don't know. I do not understand how anyone could be so stupid. I just don't understand that at all. Anyway, let's just hear what this farmer, Radmore Farm, has to say about it.
Denmark just forced farmers to use Bovaer by law. A farmer called Kent Nielsen has come forward on social media, and 6 of their cows are dead. And they think this is Bovaer. Other cows are sick. And I'm sad to say it's not the only example of it happening. More cows across the country are getting ill. I'm going to show you the full video that they have shared.
So this is the video that this Danish farmer, well, they're actually Dutch, but they're living in Denmark, they're farming in Denmark, that she is talking about.
On Friday morning, we had the first cow down. So they went to the sick box. On Saturday morning, we had in the morning, we had 2 more cows down. On the afternoon, 1 more. On Sunday, we had also 1 cow down. And we are now standing on Monday at the last cow, just recently, just pulled out half an hour ago, out of the stable. She can also not stand anymore. All have a lack of calcium, the ones who are laying down and just not eating. They just simply stop with eating. And we have a special powder, which we gave the whole weekend to all the cows who stopped eating. And we're pumping with them, with it. And, together with some vitamins, we try to get them up with eating again. We lost 5 kilos of milk per cow. So, for us, it's like 3,000 kilos of milk daily. That's a lot of milk. And we really don't want to feed it anymore. It's just poison for our cows. They get sick from it. And this is not why we are a farmer. We are a farmer to, of course, produce milk, but also to have a good, stable, with healthy cows. And in this way, we cannot keep that up.
I'm not an expert. I cannot tell you that definitively Bovaer is causing these symptoms. All I can say is that Kent is saying he thinks they have caused these symptoms. But correlation isn't causation. However, what we do know, Denmark made this mandatory in January 2025. Multiple farmers are now reporting sickness in their cattle. Some farmers are reporting death in their cattle. And Aarhus University has launched investigations into the Bovaer feed having impacts on cattle, generally a investigation into welfare concerns. Research does show Bovaer reduces feed intake. And as we already know, there is no long-term safety data. But this is why I'm scared, and so are you. Denmark are forced to do this. They had no choice. Use Bovaer or pay a fine. What happens when the government make it mandatory in the UK? I've already said I will not use Bovaer on my farm. I don't care what mandate they bring in, and I don't care what fine they threaten me with. I feel that Bovaer is experimental, and I don't believe it's fair for the consumers and the farmers to be the guinea pigs.
As a matter of fact, you have a problem here. You see, this is a small independent farm. The very sort of farm that this present government is going for. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to drive these small farmers with their independent ideas out of business. And then the farms are going to be taken over by companies who are farming for investment. Well, stuff like BlackRock, for instance. Now, they will do Bovaer. They won't care. They won't have their individual ideas. They'll just tick boxes. They'll get, the government will give them a list of things to do. They'll do them, and then they'll sell the product. And if they have a few cows who are falling down because obviously there's something to do with calcium metabolism that Bovaer might interfere with by the looks of things, then, they've got a few cows down. They'll sell it for dog food or something. Why would they care? And that's where the danger is. The big farms, you don't get individual opinions like this. And these sort of people are being... the government is at war with them because they don't follow the line. Well, it's like the independent schools as well, isn't it? And it's a terrible danger, especially when it applies to farmers.
I don't think it's fair on the animals. You might think conspiracy theory, but my cows are alive and healthy and fine, and I don't want to add anything that might change that. So what does this mean for the UK right now? Right now, Bovaer is available, but it is optional. Thank goodness. Arla, as we know, is trialling it. Some farms are having a go with it, but as we know, it is not mandatory yet. But in Denmark, it went from optional to mandatory post-trials. And when I see footage like Kent's, it really makes me sad. And that's why we need to ask these questions now and get behind what we believe now, before it's too late, because the Danish farmers are stuck with this. We don't have to be. I am concerned because look at the government's track record with farming. Again, conspiracy perhaps, but it feels a very good way of pushing farmers back again, putting prices up for the consumer and making things difficult. If you're a farmer, if you're a consumer, and this really bothers you as much as it bothers me, please take this video, share it on social media, tag in Kent. I'll put his details in the description.
Okay, and that's one of the reasons, well, it is the reason why I'm making this video. Now, just for your information, what is Bovaer? I thought I'd just look that up. So here you have what Bovaer is. It's 3-nitrooxypropanol, or 3-NOP, a synthetic feed additive for cattle and other ruminants designed to significantly reduce their enteric methane emissions. In other words, it interferes with their digestive system, a digestive system that nature took several million years to perfect. It has been extensively tested for more than 15 years. Oh, right. So more than 15 years as against, as I say, several million years. It has been extensively tested over more than 15 years and approved by numerous regulatory bodies worldwide. Oh, like a thalidomide, for instance. That went well, didn't it? Including the UK's Food Standards Agency and the European Food Safety Authority, the US Food and Drug Administration and authorities in Canada and Australia. So that makes it all right then. When you've got a bunch of people in a nice panelled office with leather chairs and coffee machine at the corner and everything, and they can make decisions about this sort of thing. Whereas people like this guy, they are at the coal face and their views don't count. Right, well, that's it. I did want you to know about this, and if you want to write to your MP about your worries about Bovaer, then go ahead and do that. But even if you don't, keep it in your mind because, it's in many ways, it reminds me of so-called gender-affirming care, when you've got a lot of scientists who believe they have the answers. We've heard that one before, haven't we? And it turns out they trail death and destruction in their wake. We all know the story about Frankenstein, don't we? Well, Mary Shelley picked up on an idea that is there in our minds, that scientists, very clever people, can do the most foolish, awful things. I'm not saying they always do foolish, awful things, obviously, but I think this is one situation where they have created something monstrous. Okay, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.